Yeah. Yeah. I haven't given you one of these in a minute. Here you go. It's been forever since I recorded anything. I actually did record a bunch of stuff and then transferred it to my phone or computer, one of the two, and then deleted all of it just to make space. Not even because I was like, I'm not happy with this thing and how it came out. It was more to make space on whatever I loaded it onto, either my phone or my computer. So, it's been too long, and now I just have to try and play catch up on everything I did. Everything that's been going on in like pretty much the last 6 weeks. I think maybe even more since the last time I even posted anything. So, I wonder how much I really want to say. I guess if you can read between the lines, I got validation on kind of what I suspected all along. I got that. That was probably 6 weeks ago. I got validation on what I suspected all along. And that's about as much as I'll say about it. And you can read between the lines if you've been friends with me for more than, probably 6 months, maybe less, maybe 4 months. If you've been friends with me for more than 4 months, you can read between the lines on that. And if you've been friends with me for less, then feel free to ask me in person and I will tell you all about it. But the validation was good. I talked to a friend tonight about it. You know, his first thing that he said was, why would people even want to tell you that? And my response to him was, it was good to get that validation of it. And also those same people that told me were saying like, hey, you're a really great guy and, you deserve really great happiness. So, that shit feels good to hear. And honestly, everything that happened led me to here in Billings, Montana, which I am falling more and more in love with this place as the weeks and days go by. I absolutely love it here. I am never, ever, ever, ever going to live in New England again. That's not to say I'll never be back. I'll be back plenty. I only have one planned trip to go back this year. But I'll probably still go back 2 or 3 times a year. I have no intention to never go back, but I will never live in New England ever again. I don't know what that says. No intention to ever live in New England again. Probably not anywhere in the Northeast. I talked to a buddy tonight about, I'm going to live in, he's looking for housing. Like he wants to live in a house. And I told him, I love apartment living. I absolutely love apartment living. Because you know what? If that oven were to break tonight, then it's not my problem if that happens. If the refrigerator breaks, that's not my problem. If the roof starts leaking, if it snows, I don't need to shovel. There's all these things that come with it. So I'm never gonna not live. I expect that I'll live in an apartment for the rest of my life. My neighbors here are fucking awesome. The couple next door is great. I met the girl that lives upstairs. She's great. I haven't really met, I guess I've kind of met some of my other neighbors, but I couldn't tell you their name to save my fucking life. But I live in a great area. Many of you have seen the pictures that I take off of my back patio. I just live in a really great area. So I don't see myself moving out of here anytime soon. Definitely, probably by the time November comes and I have to renew my lease, I'm sure that I will renew it. The only thing I noticed tonight, I stepped outside to watch the sunset, and I noticed that the sun has shifted, as it does. So it used to set almost perfectly. I'd walk out my back patio and it would be like over here. And now it's more over here. And I wonder just how much further it's going to go. Like come July, am I even going to be able to see the sunset from my patio? That's what I'm wondering right now. That is the only thing that I've considered as far as if I would move from where I'm at. If that were to happen, then come July, I'm going to be looking around some of the other buildings around here, and they're probably not available, but I'm going to go to whatever property manager is there and say, hey, when this becomes available, when this specific apartment becomes available, please let me know because I'm interested. So, work has been great. So since the last time I posted on here, posted a video, I made full-time regular again, which is great. It's exactly what I wanted. It worked out almost exactly how I planned. I had a pretty good feeling that I was going to transfer out of New Hampshire, transfer to here, be a PTF, which is a guy that doesn't have a full-time spot, doesn't have a regular route, and it would take me a couple months to get back to having a regular route. Well, about a month ago now, I got that assignment. I got reassigned to being full-time regular, which is great. I mean, nothing, when it comes to financial stuff, none of that changed throughout this whole process in the last few months. None of that changed. I kept my health benefits. I kept my vacation time, my sick time. I kept all of these things, but I just didn't have that title. And I figured it would take about 2 months, and it did. It took almost exactly 2 months to convert back to full time. The problem was that they shifted me to a different office. So there's 4 post offices in Billings, Montana. It's a lot like Manchester, New Hampshire. Manchester, New Hampshire, big city, and this is the case with all cities across America. If you're in a big city, say more than 50, 60, 70,000 people, maybe even more than that, you'll have multiple post offices in that city. So Billings has 4 post offices, and they transferred me, they assigned me to a different office, and I did not want to leave the office that I was assigned to already. So I was able to stay in that office temporarily until a position opened within that office. During my temporary stay, a position opened and I successfully got it. So I am back to being a regular mail carrier with the same route every day. If I can get back into it, I can keep these up where I do them every day, because that was what happened with the break in doing this. Was I was in a vehicle where I could very easily every morning record a video, and it was nice and quiet in that vehicle, so the sound quality didn't suck. When that route that I was on got bid to another route, I was in one of the shitty post office vehicles, the one everyone knows and loves. I was in one of those, and it's so loud in those trucks, the audio quality was fucking terrible. So I was able to, I successfully got a new route with a quiet van, so maybe these will go back to being a daily or semi-daily thing. So outside of that, a lot of soul searching lately. A lot of what are my personal boundaries. It's not as easy as I would hope. I'll put it that way. Because I feel like I'm wrestling internally with an old version of myself and a new version of myself. I relate that to boundaries, because I think, I had a lot of bad boundaries in my, in the 2010s, in my 30s. We'll just round down and call it in my 30s, right? In my 30s, I had a lot of bad boundaries. a lot of bad behavior. Some of you, unfortunately, are privy to it. And now I've changed over the last 3 or 4 years. I've had significant changes in my mentality, in what I'm willing to accept for myself, in what I'm willing to accept from other people. And I find myself these days wrestling a lot with that, with like, it's almost like that old version of myself is pulling me to come back. And this new version of myself is saying, no, you're on the right path. And, so much of me wants to be like, fuck the right path. I don't care. Fucking, I can have a bad morality and, hell is probably, I'll be in good company in hell. Who cares? And then there's this new version of me that's like, you have to be willing to accept whatever your boundaries are, and you need to stick to them. You need to set those boundaries and say, these are mine. This is what I'm willing to accept. These are my deal breakers, and I'm not going to go down that path again of being just essentially a bad person. It's been it's not as easy as I would like. I'll put it that way. It's certainly not as easy as I would like. But I guess at the end of the day, I just have to be able to live with myself and be able to go to bed at night knowing that I'm doing the right thing, whatever that is. So that's kind of a Cliff Note version of what the last few weeks, last 6 or 7 weeks has been like. Obviously, a lot of great sunsets. I've met some new people. I've made new friends out here and been going out and hanging out with people. And I'm running my first 5K tomorrow. Today is March 16th. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Running my first race in Montana tomorrow. Super excited about that. I honestly thought that my next race was going to be the marathon that I signed up for. And a guy that I work with, this guy Caleb, super cool guy, he came up to me one day a couple weeks ago and said, hey, actually what he said was, are you going to do this race? He already knew that I ran. I guess he just automatically assumed I knew about it, which I didn't. So he said, are you going to do this race? I didn't know anything about it. He sent me the info. I signed up for it. And so I'm going to go run it. It's a 5K, and it's it's weird. The race is at 1 p.m. Like every race that I've done has been pretty early in the morning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So that'll be cool. I got my new Tree of Life glass here, very Nordic. But yeah, that'll be cool. I'm gonna go do that, and then tomorrow is me and my sister, my dad, and my nephew are doing our monthly dinner together. So basically I have to do this race and run home, which kind of sucks. The timing of it sucks, just because I'm sure that I'll meet people tomorrow that might want to be like, hey, let's go have a beer or whatever, and I gotta run home. But it's for an important reason to run home. But I'll grab some phone numbers and meet some people. But I will, I'll do that race. I don't know how I'll do. I would like to think I could do that race. It's a 5K, that's 3.1 miles. I mean, if I could maintain a 9-minute mile throughout, that would make me happy. I know that I hate 5Ks. I don't like doing them. I hate 5Ks. Because I consistently will burn myself out in the first half mile. So the half marathon that I did in October, best race I've done. I love half marathons. I don't think that I'm gonna like a full marathon more than that, but who knows? I probably thought that the first 5K I did was my best race, so I don't know. But nonetheless, I don't like doing 5Ks because I burned myself out right in the beginning, immediately. And I'm going to try to pace myself right off the start tomorrow and see how it goes. But either way, it'll be fun. It'll be a cool little run. So it's about all I got going on. What are we at? I don't know, 15 minutes or so. I thought that this was going to take an hour. I kept a bunch of shit out that I really want to work out. But maybe it'll get worked out in therapy because I'm going to have to bring it there instead. Just know that it had a lot to do with that whole boundaries one way, boundaries the other way. You know, old me, new me type of thing. So, whatever. For anyone hoping that Adulting with Donnie is going to be coming back anytime soon, probably not. This is about the best you're going to get because I can do this real easy. I can just launch my GoPro real quick and talk for 10 or 15 minutes and be done. Get some thoughts off my mind. Hopefully provide you some entertainment for a minute. And hopefully get some feedback on, hey, this is how you should deal with this situation. But that's my life. That's my life here in Montana. And I can't express how much I love it here. I love it. I bought my first gun the other day. Bought my first Montana gun the other day. Not my first gun. Not by a long shot. But my first Montana gun I bought the other day. There's a store here called Shields. It's kind of like Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop. You know, it's just a huge Walmart-esque store that is, you know, outdoor sports. I mean, they have fucking everything. I bought running shoes from them too. Bought some running shoes. I bought some Montana stuff to send back east. Bought a gun, got a light for that gun, got some ammo. What else did I get? Yeah, that's probably about it. But I mean, they have fucking grills. They have cooking utensils. They have camping gear. They have weightlifting equipment, which honestly, I walked through that section and I was like, oh, I think I have some ideas for my second bedroom. They just have a bunch of stuff, but nonetheless, I went there the other night. I walked in at 8:30 at night. They close at 9 o'clock at night. I walked in there at 8:30 and I was like, look, I know the gun that I want. Do I have time? And this guy, without a second thought, goes, you have plenty of time. And I picked out the gun that I want, and he goes, do you want anything else? And I go, let me take a look around. Or what I said was, do I have time to look around? He goes, hey man, we got a half an hour. Go ahead. Like, he did not care. I mean, they were so great. These people were fucking awesome. So I looked around. I did find a couple other guns that I want, but I didn't want to buy that night. So I put them on the list, got my gun. Process was crazy easy. No filling out a paper. One of my problems with buying guns in the past, I'd always buy guns and then I got to fill out a form. You know, everyone knows that you got to fill out a form. 40, 45, 70, 44, 70, something like that. You got to fill out a form, and every single time that I fill out this form, I would fuck something up and try to write over it or try to, you know, correct it in some way. And I ended up filling out so many of these forms because if you try to correct something, they're like, we got to start over. So, but over there at Shields, all computer. Just type in your shit. So, super easy process. The people were so friendly. It happens to be less than a half a mile away from where I live. So, I'll be back there plenty. But got my first Montana gun, an HK P30 SK. This gun right here. Yeah, I like it a lot. I bought a light for it that night. It was a Phoenix something is the brand. And it's about the same as a Streamlight TLR7. But it was brighter. It was supposed to be brighter. That's what I liked about it. So I bought it and it happened to be cheaper. It happened to be almost half the price. It was like $90 versus $150. So I got that as a light. I bring it home and attach it to the gun. It's great. I really like it. Problem was, I get online to Black Rhino Concealment, which is who I go through for holsters. I have several holsters from them. I've probably bought, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 holsters from Black Rhino. And I get on their website, get a holster for the gun, and when I get down to the section of what is your light, that one is not listed. So I emailed the owner, because I'm friends with him too. I emailed him and I said, hey, I got this gun, I got the light, but the light's not listed. Can you make it? And he says, no. He says, for us to make that with that light, you're gonna have to send us the light. And now you're looking at, a week to get there, a week to get back, and 4 or 5 weeks of making the holster. I want the fucking holster now. So I went back to Shields the next night. I said, hey, I got to exchange this. I exchanged it for the Streamlight TLR7. Exchanged the light. They only said, is there something wrong? I said, no, there's nothing wrong. The light's great. Problem is that my holster company doesn't make a holster for it. And they said the problem is that that light manufacturer is a new company, so no one's really making holsters for it yet. So maybe they will someday, but for now, I don't care because I got TLR7. So exchanged it the next day and got the new light, brought it home. I like it. It's just honestly, this light supposedly, the Streamlight is 500 lumens and the Phoenix that I got was 600 lumens. I can't tell the difference. I really can't. So less lumens, twice the price, but I got a holster. Well, I don't have the holster yet, but I ordered the holster. So that wraps up all my big news, anything that I could possibly say. So I hope you all are doing good, no matter where you are, New Hampshire, Montana, anywhere in between, anywhere south or north. So I'll check in with you soon-ish, I think, maybe. Okay, bye. I took today off, and kind of the first real day off that I've had in a while. We had President's Day off. Let's see here. Let's think about the days off that I've really had. Going back to January was Sunday. I think that Sunday I came back. I don't remember, to be honest. I can't remember the dates exactly. I feel like Sunday I worked. I did. So I came back from Austin, Texas on Friday, and then on Saturday I didn't want to go to work because I just got back from Austin, and then I ended up working on Sunday that weekend, and then Monday was Martin Luther King Day, so I had that day off, but I had to use that as basically my Sunday, which is Sundays I do, I clean the floors, I do the laundry, maybe I go grocery shopping or whatever. I gotta do all these things. And then it's right back to 6-day weeks. 6 days, 12-hour days. Busy, busy, busy with work. So then you go to President's Day in end of February. And Saturday is when I went up snowmobiling. When I went out snowmobiling, I went out west snowmobiling. And come back on Sunday night and then had Monday off for President's Day. But again, same deal, now I'm just using Monday as Sunday to do all my chores. And then it's been, right back to 6 days a week, 12-hour days. I've taken a very minimal amount of time off, leave an hour or two early so that I can go to a dentist appointment, that type of thing. But it has been just so busy, right? So last week I got off the overtime list, and for the last bit of the quarter, which the quarter ends at the end of this week. So get off the overtime list, and which meant that I had today off. So I had Sunday off, and then I had today off. And then so yesterday I did all of my shit that I need to do, fucking all the cleaning, all that stuff, which meant that, you know, today I essentially had nothing to do. And man, one of my problems is I don't really enjoy a day. I always forget how much I don't actually enjoy a day off. I'm not good at taking a day off because I don't feel like I've done anything to earn sitting on the couch. I haven't done anything. Like, it's 8:30 at night right now, and normally I would be getting home from work right now on a Monday, and I'd be coming home and I'd do some cooking. I wouldn't have time to do this because I'd cook, I'd take care of Graphite, I'd want to sit on the couch and watch a show or something. You know, I want to do all these things. I have all these things in my mind. And then a day like today, I just don't feel like I've earned the relaxing. I don't feel like I've earned any of it. I'm so bad at taking a day off. And to make it even worse, a few minutes ago, I pulled out the old calculator and did the math on how much it cost me to have today off. It was an expensive day off. It was a really expensive day off. But they are very rare for me. And it kind of gives me a better appreciation of working so much. You know, it's not easy to work 6 days in a row, 12 hours each day, and try to maintain some semblance of a social life in the process. You know, I'm kind of seeing someone. So, you know, trying to make that work along with all the work. I mean, it's a process. It's all of it is a process, and it can weigh on me sometimes, but nonetheless, had today off and didn't do a fucking thing. Didn't really do a thing. I went out and brought a smoothie to Chandra, and then came back home. I went out and did that, and then I came back home and played video games for a little bit and watched a movie, and I really haven't done a fucking thing all day. I did laundry. I did a little bit of laundry. You know, some of the laundry that I didn't do yesterday. So I guess there's that, but it doesn't really feel like a major accomplishment at the end of the day. So I don't know. But other than that, I mean, life is good. Life is good here. I like it here a lot. I like it here in Montana. I'm really eager for some nice weather, you know, summer. Although I did notice that all those beautiful sunsets that I got to see in December and January, the sun keeps moving. I don't remember if I mentioned this already on these videos. I may have. But the sun keeps moving this way. So now, instead of the sun setting over there in perfect eyesight for me to step out on my back patio and watch the sunset, now it's setting over here somewhere. So, no big deal though. I mean, come summer, maybe I'll just go for walks or something to go watch the sunset. I don't know. We'll see. But everything else is great. I don't know what else to say. I guess I got nothing else to report for right now. I hope you all are great. Happy Easter. Today's Easter Sunday. And it's beautiful. It's another holiday. This is the second holiday that I'm going to be away from New Hampshire, away from a much different life. To be honest, I don't even remember if Rochelle and I she must have done a lot of cooking on Easter Sunday. I don't recall any of it. I mean, I remember St. Patrick's Day, she would always do, you know, the typical St. Patrick's Day food thing, corned beef and hash or something like that, which I never liked anyways. I've never been a fan of corned beef and hash. I have a ham marinating right now that I plan to cook in about an hour. I'll throw it in the oven in about an hour. Should take about 3 hours to cook. So that's my Easter Sunday, aside from regular Sunday bullshit of cleaning and doing laundry and just hanging around the apartment. Went out last night with a couple friends to one of the bars down the street. Nice place called the Red Door. Just another bar casino, although this one has karaoke, so I did not do karaoke, not my jam. But hung out with basically a couple coworkers, Chandra and this guy Chance, who just started at the post office, and him and I worked side by side together Thursday night. And he was telling me that he just moved to the city maybe a month or two ago, and he moved to Montana maybe a year ago from California because a friend of his lived in Butte, which is about 90 minutes away from me. So they actually ended up not liking Butte, so they moved here to Billings. So he started with the post office I think he started with the post office a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so he was telling me, like, you know, he doesn't really have anyone to hang out with, so I told him, you know, if you ever want to go out, then shoot me a text and I'll meet up with you. So last night I got home. I had a whole plan last night of just being home by myself, chilling out, doing some cleaning, some organizing, moving some shit around the place. And I got home, and maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours after I got home, Chance texted me and said, hey, I'm going to the Red Door if you want to meet me. So the place is like 10 minutes from my place, so no big deal. I went out, I had a couple drinks with him and Chandra, and then came home. Fell asleep on the couch for an hour and went to bed. Yeah. It's really not a bad life. I posted something on Instagram and Facebook the other day. I'm a wicked tech nerd. Always have been, always will be. One of my favorite things about having my own place is that I can design the place however I fucking want to. You know, I can put up the pictures that I want to. And I can be okay with things not being perfect. So, but when I moved here, I got these Google Nest devices. I don't know if you can see it over there, but that's one of them. I got one right there. It's a little screen. It's about that big. I have one there in the kitchen, and then I have one in the bedroom. And then I can say, you know, okay, Google, what's the weather? And it'll pop up like it's about to. It's telling me the weather in Billings right now. Or I can say, okay, I'm going to stop saying that G word because I don't want it to keep doing that thing. But I can say, okay, set an alarm for, and then it will set the alarm for whatever time I say. Or, you know, okay, what's a recipe for blah, blah, blah. Like anything that you can do on Google, you can do with these Nest devices by just talking to them. So the other morning I wake up, and I hadn't done this yet, because I've only been setting alarms in the morning. I hadn't done this before. I was like, oh, I wonder if I say, okay, good morning, what will happen? And it pops up and it starts talking, and it says, you know, here's what's on your calendar today. Here's the weather outside for today. Here's a couple other things. And it says, these are other things that I can do. And it starts naming off a couple other things that it can do. And it says, I can also start your coffee. I was like, what the fuck? So immediately I Googled coffee makers that work with Google, and found a Keurig, which is right over there now. It's a fucking $200 coffee maker. But now in the morning, all I have to do is wake up and say, okay, G, and it will start telling me about my day, blah, 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 blah. You know, here's the weather, here's what you have going on today. And then it will start my coffee. It'll just start making my coffee. And on top of that, I can also do cool things like, okay, Google, turn off the kitchen lights. And there they go. I had to buy all the light bulbs because they're all Bluetooth light bulbs made by Philips, and I had to buy some bridge connector thing to make it all work together. So all in all, I turned my apartment into a little smart home for more money than I'm willing to say right now, to be honest. But I can also I can tell it to turn on the TV. I can tell it to turn up or down the music. I can tell it to put my phone in do not disturb mode. Yeah, just another example of why I love having my own place. I love Montana. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like I'm that far from home. Back east. It doesn't feel like I'm that far from there. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I should miss everyone back east more than I do, I think. But sometimes I think about my state of mind while I was there for the last 20 years. I think of all the stresses of just feeling so much pressure of I need to see these people, I need to see this person, I need to go do this thing, I should go do this thing, I need to talk to this person. And I mean, that last relationship that I was in, the fucking calendar was always full. There was always something on the calendar. And now I look at my calendar and it's empty. So all I have to do is wake up and go to work and come home and see graphite. Or go out if I want to, or go do something if I want to. There's no one or no thing that is dictating my life right now, which is really nice. Really nice. However, that said, tomorrow I got to start waking up pretty early to start training for this marathon that I'm doing in 6 weeks. Marathon's in 6 weeks. And it's my first marathon, first full marathon. And tomorrow morning I'm gonna start waking up early. I'd love it if I could wake up at 3 and start running then, but that might happen by the end of April, but it's not gonna happen tomorrow, that's for damn sure. But probably wake up at 4:30. Start waking up at 4:30 in the morning, run for at least a couple hours, real light stuff, like 12, 13-minute mile, keep my heart rate 140 beats a minute, whole way through, just for 2 straight hours, 140 beats a minute. And wake up at 4:30, run, come back here, probably take a shower real quick, if I have time. Go to work for 12 hours because tomorrow's the start of a new quarter, so I'm back on the overtime list. Go to work for 12 hours, come home, go to bed, do it all again the next day, and that'll be my life for the next 6 weeks. It'll be rough, that's for damn sure, but the payoff at the end is going to be pretty sick. Crossing that finish line is going to be pretty fucking awesome to say, I completed a marathon. And next step after that will be full ultra marathon. And I don't know when that'll happen. I'd like to think it'll happen this year, but I don't think there's any ultras in the area. So if I wanted to do an ultra, I'd probably have to go down to Denver, which is a 10-hour drive, which is funny to me because back in New Hampshire, every city is 45 minutes apart. You go from Portsmouth to Epping, it's 20 minutes, and Epping to Manchester is 20 minutes, and Manchester to Concord is 20 minutes, and Manchester to Nashua or Salem is 20 minutes. You don't have to go very far to hit a city, unless you're in northern New Hampshire. And even then, you have Littleton and Tilton, and you don't have to go very far to hit, a big community, big-ish community. But man, out here, this fucking state is so goddamn big. the distance to go from the southeast corner of Montana to the northwest corner of Montana is equal to the distance of driving from New Hampshire to Florida. That is absurd. It's also an equal distance to go from here all the way down to Texas. I mean, it's crazy how big this state is. So because of that, because there's nothing, the closest city to the city is Butte, which is 90 minutes away. And Bozeman is 2 hours away, and Missoula is 5 hours away. Kalispell is 8 to 10 hours away. Great Falls is 4 hours away. You know, if you want to leave this city and go to another city, Sheridan, Wyoming is an hour and a half away. Cheyenne, Wyoming is 4 or 5 hours away. It's just funny because when I moved out here, I have an aunt and uncle that have a place in Ennis, Montana. And when I looked that up before moving here, it was 3 hours away. And at the time I was like, I'm probably never gonna go out there because it's just too far. Like, I'm not gonna drive 3 hours to go have lunch with someone and then drive back to home. You know, that's equal to being in Portsmouth, New Hampshire and driving up to Rangeley just to have lunch and turn around and drive back. Like, I would never do that. But now that I'm here and I've been here for a while, I mean, 3 hours is like nothing. To drive 3 hours I mean, I look at Denver as being equal to me going to Rangeley. I'm going to Denver. I'm gonna hop in the car, I'm gonna go to Denver, I'm gonna stay for a night or two, and then I'm gonna come back. It's just crazy how that changed. But yeah, everything else is going great. So anyways, happy Easter. I hope that you all had a great Easter and a safe Easter, and I hope everyone's doing well. And I'll talk to you whenever I talk to you. You know what makes it really hard to keep this up is just how much GoPro sucks at downloading videos. Like last night, I took the motorcycle to ride home. I ride home, it's about a 20-minute drive to get from work to home. I recorded the whole thing. I didn't need the whole thing, but I recorded the whole ride. And I got home and it took half an hour, maybe more, to download all of that video. Like, it shouldn't, I don't know, in my opinion, it should not take that goddamn long. It might have taken an hour, now that I think about it. But I mean, it's a 20-minute video. It shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. It shouldn't take more than 10. I'm literally watching the video on my phone. Like, I can pull the phone up on the GoPro app on my phone, and I'm watching it on my phone. It's the same video from the same device that I'm using. It shouldn't take that goddamn long to download it, but it does. So, but anyways, one of the problems is that I end up recording an hour of video here, and then it's just too much of a pain in the ass to do anything with it. So, I don't know. I have no idea when all of these are going to end up making their way to YouTube, I guess. But anyways, today is April 14th. Beautiful, beautiful day out here in Billings. The sun's out, 80 degrees today. I'm about to take the motorcycle out, not for a long ride, just it's me and my sister are doing our like monthly get-together thing. But we're doing it a little differently. My family is getting together at Olive Garden in Manchester, New Hampshire. So me and Chandra are going to go to Olive Garden here in Billings, Montana, and I'll set up my iPad, and I'm sure it's going to be a total shit show. I have every expectation that it's going to be a shit show. I have every expectation that how this is going to work is basically Chandra and I just sitting there talking to each other, and my family sitting on the other end talking to each other, and you know, it's not going to end up being much of anything. So But whatever, it'll make my dad happy. It'll make my sister happy, I'm sure. I'm sure my family, I haven't seen my family since I've been out here. I communicate back and forth with them a little bit, but that's about it. So, whatever, it'll be cool. And then, that'll last until probably about 3 o'clock my time. For them, it's 5. So that'll last until about 3 my time, and then I'll have the rest of the day. I don't really know if anything else is going on. I'll probably have to figure out something to eat at some point, but had an awesome night last night. Chandra and I went to the PBR, which is the Professional Bull Riders thing. We went to that. I don't know why my music just stopped. I don't know. My phone's in the other room, so I can't tell if someone's trying to call me or not. I assume someone was probably trying to call me. But we went to the Professional Bull Rider thing last night, and it was incredible. I've been to NASCAR at Bristol. I've been to Zach Brown in New Hampshire. I've been to Red Sox games. I've been to NASCAR in New Hampshire. Handful of other concerts, and God, PBR, I will go to that every time, forever. I mean, it was just so awesome to see these guys on these fucking 1,000-pound animals they just want them off. And it was crazy to watch. It was so much fun, and it went by so fast. Doors opened at 5:15. The show itself started at 6:45, and it was over like maybe just after 8:30, 8:45, and it was over so quick. It wasn't like they said like, we have 5 riders left or something like that. And of course, these riders are only on there for 8 seconds if they're lucky, so it goes pretty quick. There was 35 riders last night. It goes by pretty quick. But the show itself, like, I could have dealt with that for another hour or 2. I mean, it was just so awesome. It was so cool to watch all of that. And they put on a great show. Like, they got an entertainer there that's going around and dancing, and he's up in the stands talking to people, and it was just so awesome. It was such a great experience. And the first time that I've been to the Metra, which is our equivalent here of like whatever the Verizon Wireless Stadium is in Manchester, New Hampshire. I don't know if it's still the Verizon Wireless Arena or what it's called these days, but it's the equivalent. It's the same thing. Just a giant building on the edge of the city that hosts events. Breaking Benjamin is coming there in a couple weeks. I know Bert Kreischer has been there in the past. Just a state, not even, I wouldn't even call it a stadium. It's just a building. I mean, I guess if Billings, Montana ever decided that they wanted to have a professional basketball team, maybe even a professional hockey team, then they could probably do that there. But it was great, a lot of fun. So, and other than that, things have just been awesome. I can't express how much I appreciate those of you that occasionally reach out and see how I'm doing. I try to reciprocate on that and reach out to people back east, but man, it gets so busy here sometimes with work. The work days, I've said many times now, the work days are 12 hours each. So the work days are long. Still kind of in limbo as to where I'm going to end up permanently. I know that I'm going to end up in the main office because I already have a position within the main office. Another position just opened up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to take it or not. I'm getting excited for the summer. Chandra and I are going to go see Pete Davidson in July, and we have plans to go whitewater rafting in June. I'm eager to get like some actual time off to go out and go down the Beartooth Highway. It's supposed to be a really nice scenic drive. I ran the other day. I ran 21 miles the other day, my longest run ever. It took me 4 hours exactly, which was, kind of what I expected was 4 hours. I wasn't trying to break any land speed records. I was just kind of out there at a 11 and a half minute pace, and I was happy with it. 21 miles at 11:30 per mile. I was fine with that. I wasn't pushing myself. So I got a marathon coming up in May, my first marathon ever. So it was kind of a good litmus test of how will I do at the marathon. So I have a high degree of confidence that when I do this marathon, I'm going to be able to finish in under 5 hours. So that's, I wanted to finish in under 4. I don't know if that'll happen or not. I kind of doubt that'll happen. I'd have to maintain like a 8-minute and 30-second pace to get under 4. So I don't know if I can do that or not. I guess we'll find out. But lots of stuff coming up. Lots of stuff coming up in the next few months. Got to try and make plans to get back east at some point. I don't know when, because it's expensive. I looked at flights, and flying there for just one person is going to be, flying there, hotel, car rental is going to be probably close to give or take $1,500. I don't know that I want to fly. I think that I'd like to take the Amtrak train, just because I think that would be a really cool thing to experience, traveling across the country by train. The problem with that is that it's so long. It's so long. The train, first of all, the closest train station for me is 5 hours. It's a 5-hour drive from where I'm at. So I'd have to drive 5 hours to wherever. So let's say that the train leaves on Tuesday afternoon. Train leaves Tuesday afternoon at 1 p.m. I have to leave Billings, Montana at like 6 in the morning. So I'm leaving Billings at 6 in the morning. Train leaves Havre at 1 p.m. And it doesn't, on Tuesday, 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and it doesn't arrive in Boston until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night on Thursday night. And then you get to Boston and you gotta rent a car, go through all that bullshit process. And then drive to New Hampshire. So you're not getting to wherever you're staying in New Hampshire until 1 or 2 in the morning on Friday, right? So you've now left Billings at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, and you're getting to your final destination at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. on Friday morning. I mean, that is a long few days. And personally, I could do that myself. I don't mind. I can go without sleep and food and, just keep driving forward to the next thing until I collapse. I can do that. I don't like having another person who also has to do that now. So I don't know yet. I don't know if I'll fly, if we'll fly, if we'll take the train. I mean, I guess we could take the train one way, and I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot to think of, and it's a lot of fucking money. Because like I said, I mean, it's whether it's train or flying, it's about the same price either way. It's around $1,500 per person. So maybe a little more, maybe like $1,700 per person. When you factor in cost of either the flight or the train, either way, those are about the same. And then car rental and hotel and food. All these things just come into play. I mean, you're talking about to go back to visit New Hampshire for 4 to 7 days is going to cost probably $7,000 or $8,000, which is a lot. To visit a place that I'm from, to visit a place where I already know all this shit. Would I rather spend $7,000 or $8,000 going to Arizona or Texas or fucking someplace else that I've never been? But I know that the people back east want to see me, so I don't know. I mean, how much fucking changes in a year? I'm going, for me, for those people, for my friends and family that still are in New Hampshire and Maine and Massachusetts, for those people, yeah, it's, they want to see me and excited to see me. For me, I'm going back to a place that I ran away from. I can't imagine has really changed in 1 year, and a place that I just don't have a desire to go back to. It's it's a place that I am probably forever going to associate with a lot of failure and a lot of depression and a lot of bad feelings. So I have I don't know. For me, I certainly don't have the desire to go back the same way that people have the desire to see me. So, anyways, it's 20 minutes to 2 right now here in Montana. So I gotta get ready so I can go to this thing and see my family over a video call. So I hope you're all doing great. I just finished a little run. This is, I don't know, an hour and a half or so. It was 9 miles in total. I started to record this earlier, and I got like a few seconds in and the battery died. And of course the other battery was dead too. So anyways, I probably did one of these in early March and then another one in like April, and I used to do them every day for a couple minutes, and then I just kind of fell out of that. Just kind of fell out of it. I mean, maybe I'll kick on again. I have a new route coming up soon. So I used to do them out of a ProMaster van where it was nice and quiet inside the van, and I could do it while I drove. But those LLVs are just so fucking loud. That's how I ended up falling out of it, doing these on a daily basis. And then everything else fucking takes precedence in some way. But anyways, things have been, today is March 6th. It's a Monday. I just finished a run. It's probably my last long run. It was 9 miles. I say, I know 9 miles is probably long to some people and short to some people. To me, it's a long run. So it's the last of my long runs before my marathon, I think, most likely. I mean, maybe I'll do another 9 miler next Sunday, but it sucked. It was, it must have been 25, gusting 35 miles an hour, cross and headwind. I only had maybe a mile or so of a tailwind, which I thought was going to help, and it really didn't very much. But man, that fucking headwind running into 25 miles an hour sucks. So I just finished that, and it's 3:30 here. Yeah, it's a little after 3:30 here in Montana. So I don't really know what I'll do with the rest of my day. Obviously I gotta take a shower. I know I have to do a lot of shopping. I should probably go and do that. Because the rest of the week, the next 5 days will be 12-hour days, most likely. So may as well go and get that out of the way. And yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird few weeks, if not a couple months. I kind of ended up, I don't even remember how much I may have mentioned on video here, but I kind of ended up in a semi sort of relationship with a girl that I work with. And she's great and all. She's gorgeous. Very, very pretty girl. But I'm just not in a space to get into a full, actual relationship after coming out of that last one. The last two, really. And I don't want to waste her time or my time. I don't want to get into a relationship with someone I guess I'm a little gun shy now on relationships, because the last two have just ended up being such disasters, where I was so all in on both of them. In fact, including my ex-wife too. So, my three longest relationships, I was so all in on them,
of like, this is it. This is who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And, they both crash and burn. And I guess, I know that's relationships in general, but I just don't know that I want to keep putting myself through that. I don't really want to run the risk of wasting someone else's time or my time. I don't want to run the risk of like, take Chandra for example, perfect example really. She wants to be with someone that she's going to be with forever. At least I think so. She wants the whole family dynamic and, the house and the white picket fence and all that bullshit. And I don't. I enjoy living by myself. It's just me and graphite. I enjoy, being able to, last night I was looking up, going to Las Vegas for a weekend just because. And just doing things by myself, not having to worry about another person. So, I don't know. I don't know, but it's been a weird few weeks, and me and Chandra were talking every day, multiple times a day, and then last week, I kind of drilled it into her head one more time that I'm just never going to be what it is that she's looking for, or at the very least, I won't be that guy for a while. Like before I came out here, my sister and I went out for drinks one night, and my sister has spent the majority of the last 15 years, let's say 15 years, the majority of the last 15 years, she's spent as like not really being in a relationship, and she's kind of been with this guy, Randy, for a while, but the two of them are kind of, touch and go is the best way to put it. I mean, it's not like they're on again, off again, but they're not like, the way that she's described it to me is that they're not like, it's almost like what I would like it to be with Chandra, to be honest. They kind of have this feeling of like, look, I'm not looking anywhere else, but also we're not in a real relationship type of thing. They're comfortable with living apart or whatever. But anyways, she spent a lot of her time single, and we were out for drinks one night, and she was telling me how happy she was for me and how excited she was for me that, I've spent so much time in relationships in the last 20 years, over 20 years. I've spent so much time in relationships that, I was coming out here with this whole plan of just being single, not fucking playing the field, not like being a whore, not being a whore, okay? Not like, I'm not out chasing tail. I'm not out fucking looking to just bang everything that moves. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just spending time by myself, doing the things that I enjoy, going for runs, going out to bars, going out with friends, meeting new friends, making new friends. When I'm home, fucking cleaning, cooking, whatever the fuck I want to cook for me. Setting up my apartment the way that I fucking want to. Not having this feeling that I need to please another person. Which even if Chandra or anyone else doesn't put that on me, like I need to make them happy, I put it on myself, especially if I'm in a relationship. I always put it on myself that I'll set aside my own happiness if it makes the other person happy. So I really need to spend this year, at least, of 2024, just spending this time working on me. And, I'm still working on me. And I don't want to waste Chandra's time. If, she can find someone else that is better suited for her in this next 9 months, then she should go and be with that person. I feel like it's almost the same cycle that I was in with Katie, where Katie kept telling me that she wanted to have a baby. And I kept telling her it was never going to happen with me. And if that is what she really wanted, then she should go find that person to have a baby with. And it was the same thing for 6 years or more. For 6 straight years, it was the same conversation. Every month or two went the same way, of her telling me well, I want to have a baby someday, and me telling her it's not going to happen with me. And if that's what you truly want, then you should go and find that person, and we can break up, and it's fine. We can, you know, you want something that I can't provide you, so you should go find that person. That was how the conversation would go every time. Would always spiral into an argument, and every time would end with her saying, we'll talk about this another time, and me saying, why? It's not gonna change. None of it's gonna change. It's always gonna be the same circle. And after 9 years, I was finally like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Clearly, that's what you want. You should go find it. It's never happening with me. We're done. You know, and she tried to rescue the ship a few times and was like, I changed my mind. I decided I don't want to have, no, you changed your mind for now. And in a month or 2 or 6, it's going to come back up. So I'm done. We're done. Let's part ways. And surprise, surprise, 4 years later, she still has not found, you know, she still has not had a baby. She still hasn't made no effort to have one, and probably never will. I'm convinced it never had to do anything with actually wanting a baby. It had more to do with wanting to lock me in so that I could never fucking go anywhere. So, anyways, in Chandra's case, you know, she wants to, you know, have a full-on relationship, and I'm just not ready for it. And if that's what she wants to have, and she wants someone to, you know, be a father figure in her kids' lives, or at least a male figure in her kids' lives, and she wants to do the you know, family trips to amusement parks and all this other shit that comes along with, you know, I don't want to say stepdad, but, you know, the boyfriend of the mom with the kids. If she wants to do all of that, she needs to find a guy who wants to do all of that. And I don't want to. I'm happy the way that I am, you know. If her kids were 5 years older, then I think it would be a totally different story. But whatever. I'm doing just fine the way that I am. And, you know, it's not like it was a breakup, because, you know, we never really got the plane off the ground. But it does still kind of suck to go from talking to this person every day and exchanging text messages all the time and seeing them all the time, and then to go down to 0. You know, we're still, you know, we don't hate each other or anything. It's not like me and Rochelle, where we just completely stopped talking and you know, blocking each other on social media and anything like that. But you know, we still text and talk for a couple minutes here and there, and obviously we still work together. So I have no idea. You know, who knows how it'll end up playing out. I'm saying all this right now on May 6th, and I could do another one of these on May 8th, and I could be like, we're fucking hanging out again. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know where it goes, but I do know that of what I want for myself. So anyways, I'm gonna hit stop on this right now and upload it all, and I guess I'll check in a few days, or another few weeks, or another month.